Okay, great. So let us start. And thank you so much for joining once again another session in the Buddha Center. And today we are going to discuss about a particular sutra, or we can say sutta. In Sanskrit, it says sutra. In Pali, it says sutta, and its significance with the modern psychology. So the sutta that we are going to discuss today, it's called Vitakkasanthana Sutta. And this particular sutta belongs to a set of or a cluster of suttas in the early portion of Majjhima Nikaya. And in this particular sutra, the Buddha is teaching some of his disciples, some of the young monks. So this specific sutra deals with the mental cultivation and very importantly, the second one is dealing with uh, obstacles that we face while meditating, while practicing mindfulness, while doing some mental work. And this is a very common thing for all of us. Every day, uh, we have observed in our own life that there are some thoughts come to our mind, and these thoughts do not go away. And sometimes we fight with these thoughts, sometimes wrestle with these thoughts, we try to get rid of those thoughts, uh, but we feel very difficult to uh, just cast away these thoughts. So, in this particular sutra, Buddha is teaching the students, the novice students, that how to uh, deal with this kind of, you know, distracting or distressing thoughts. And these thoughts could be of anything. It could be of anger. Maybe someone told you something and you got very angry. You felt insulted. You felt humiliated. Maybe the thought could be about any kind of craving, any kind of desire. It could be any kind of jealousy. It could be any kind of panic, worrying about something. It could be anything. So, in the context of this particular sutra, the Buddha was teaching the students that how to get rid of these distracting thoughts or distressing thoughts while practicing meditation. But what I found while studying about this particular sutra, that it's not only relevant during meditation or practicing mindfulness, but at any time we can practice it. Everyday life we are exposed to different kind of situations, and due to those situations we get different kind of thoughts, and these thoughts keeps on lingering in our mind. We think and we overthink, and sometimes we are not able to just get rid of these thoughts. So Buddha talked about 5 different steps, and the step starts from 1 up to 5. 1 is a very gentle way about dealing with your thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and the fifth one is the most forceful way. And the Buddha said that it's not necessary that you go to step 4 or step 5. You go, step, like, first you try step 1. If it does not work, then you try step 2. If it does not work, then you try step 3. So step by step we can try to conquer this kind of thoughts in our mind. uh, so I'm going to talk about the steps, and also I will give you a easy example so that it would be relevant for you, or you can relate it with your everyday life. So first one, the Buddha says that you know, swap the unwholesome thoughts for wholesome one. So if any thoughts comes to your mind triggered by anger, desire, worrying, you try to replace the thoughts with some good thoughts or some positive thoughts, the thoughts of gratitude. Suppose, for example, you are working in your office, and during the meeting someone criticized you, and you kept on replaying about this incident again and again in your mind. Sometimes we are not able to control, and we keep on replaying it. It's a kind of mental movie. But instead of replaying the criticism, we can um, think about something we did well that day. Maybe you can find something that you are grateful for uh, on that day or right now. Suppose this kind of incident happens tomorrow, day after tomorrow in your office. That particular moment, you think about something that you really did well. Yes, criticizing is people pointing you out, like pointing out about something you did not do well, but there must be something which you did well. Think about it, or uh, something which you are grateful for. So this is the most gentle way of dealing your thoughts. Why? Because here you are not suppressing thoughts, you are replacing the thoughts. So here you are changing the narrative which is going on in your mind, because earlier your mind was saying that oh Bodhi, you did this thing wrong, or Bodhi, without any reason someone criticized you. But the moment I shifted my focus onto something that I did really well, or something for which I am grateful for, uh, the, 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 the awareness will shift from that negative event to a positive event. Um, Gratitude is very powerful, and we can practice gratitude every day. But here also, in the very first step, we need to replace the thought with something good. You know, uh, some people call it opposite thinking, but it's not exactly opposite thinking. It's about uh, giving the mind something positive, so that mind does not brood about the negative things. But if this particular step does not work, then you can go to the step number 2. What is step number 2? This kind of distressing thoughts, or intrusive thought has come to your mind, and you can examine the output of that thought, or you can examine the drawback or the disadvantage of that thought. So it says that in the sutra that look closely at the thought and see its drawbacks. Now I'm going to give an example. Same thing. You had a meeting in your office, and someone criticized you during your meeting, and you kept on replaying in your mind even after you have returned from your office. So what is this replaying the thoughts, actually doing for you? You ask this question. Is it making me feel worse? Yeah, you feel bad about it. Is it making me tensed? Yes, you feel panicked, you feel tensed, you feel stressed. Uh, you ask, is it just ruining my evening? Absolutely, because that incident happened in the morning and now you should relax at your home, watch some movies or listening to some music, but you kept on replaying it again and again in your mind. So the person who criticized you, you know, he or she hurt you once, but once you are replaying, when you are replaying again and again, you are hurting yourself, several times. So automatically, when we think about these drawbacks, so we are basically, using our own observation or our own insight as a tool, to get rid of the negative thoughts. Because if we ponder, if we overthink, I mean, it's not going to change anything, right? But unnecessary, we keep on brooding, we keep on ruminating. So that is the step two. What is the step three? So step one maybe did not work for you. Step two, examine the drawback. That also did not work for you. Then you can go to the step three. Uh, Step three is all about withdrawing your attention. So here the Buddha says that simply stop paying attention to the thoughts. So, but how do you do that? I mean, we cannot just say to our mind that don't pay attention. So, how does it work? We distract our mind with something else. So, suppose for example, consciously we can turn our attention to any work or maybe a conversation with someone. We start talking to people, or maybe just reading a book or walking, doing something actively will be a kind of distraction for that thought. And for some people, uh, like it's not same for all the people. Maybe for some people, reading a book, works. For some people, walking outside for half an hour or just going to your backyard, that might work for you. Uh, Calling your friends or your family member, that might work for you. Or maybe just turning your attention to any kind of work, maybe office work, maybe household work, whichever works for you, that you can choose. So this is the step number three, that withdrawing your attention. So here we are not fighting the thoughts, but we are not feeding as well. So whenever we engage with the thought, we think about it, we overthink about it, we try to analyze the thing, we are actually feeding the thought. Okay? And more time we spend for feeding, the thoughts become more powerful. The thought becomes like a giant monster because it feeds on your energy, it feeds on your time, it feeds on your uh, attention. So here we are withdrawing our attention from that thought. But suppose this also did not work for you, then you can come to the step 4. Now step 4 is a little different. Here the step 4 is called address the root. So here we are trying to find the root cause of these thoughts, like why the thoughts, why it keep why it keeps arising, why I cannot stop it, why it always bothering my mind, what is the root cause. So here we work with the formation of the thought itself. Like we can ask this kind of question, that uh, why that particular criticism, uh, you know why it's hitting me so hard. Many people criticized me in last 20-30 years, maybe I did not feel that much, but this time why? Then you will try to, or you will find something which will give you some clue. uh, like you will try to find some pattern, and you can ask some question like, why am I so afraid about particular this incident. So you are actually going deeper uh, into the thought itself to find out that there are 99 thoughts which did not bother you that much. Why this one particularly is bothering you a lot? So here we are actually going into the root cause analysis of these thoughts. But it is not needed if you could get rid of your thoughts by practicing step 1 or step 2 or step 3. So in the sutra, the same thing is mentioned, that you don't have to jump to 4 or jump to step 5. There are total 5 steps, starting from the more gentle way to manage your mind to the most forceful way. So the fourth way, you try to uh, address the root cause of your thought, that why it is bothering you so much. Maybe you can write it down, because writing down has a very therapeutic effect on our mind. Sometimes our mind is not able to understand, or sometimes our mind does not have the clarity, that the moment you write it down, uh, it becomes clearer to your mind. So you can write it down. Okay, why this one is bothering so much? I actually practice this thing. I even though like in today's age, many people write on their laptop, on their mobile phone, or maybe MacBook, but I still always have a notepad and pen. I always take notes, on a paper. Maybe I'm very old schooled, or maybe I'm very, like still living in the Jurassic era. But it helps me to clear my thoughts. It helps me to understand something in a much better manner. Today I'm taking the session, but I had made a handwritten note on it, and seeing that I'm actually taking today's session. So you can also do the same thing. Suppose addressing the root cause and trying to find the solution for each branches of the issue did not solve the problem. And now this sutra has an ultimatum, the last step. And the last step is forceful suppression. Forcefully we are suppressing the thoughts. Uh, but forcefully restraining the mind, it's not fully possible, at least for some people. But in this sutra it is mentioned that if the first 4 steps did not work, you can go to the fifth step, the last step, that is, you try to forcefully restrain your mind, like, no, not right now, mind. We have important work to do. Maybe later on, but not right now. Okay, I'll think about it tomorrow. I'll think about it in the evening. I'll think about it at night. But right now, I have important work to do. So, this is the last step. So I have discussed the 5 different steps mentioned in the Vitakkasanthana Sutta. Uh, so again, I'm just doing a little recap. The step 1 was replacing your thought with a good one, something which makes you feel good, something which makes you feel grateful. Step 2 was examine the thoughts. See its drawbacks, like is it making you feel worse, more stand, more stressed, or is it just ruining your time, ruining your evening? Maybe you could have done something better. Uh, Step 3 was withdrawing the attention, not feeding the thoughts, because the more we feed, the thought gets bigger and bigger and heavier, and it starts affecting us more. How do we do that? We need to distract our mind. We can put our attention into some work, reading, walking, listening to music, something which is active in nature, not in a passive in nature. So reading is very active, walking is very active. Music, you can say little passive. Cooking, conversing with one of your friend, you know, just not feeding the thought. Not spending time with the thought. Step 4 is addressing the root cause. So you try to uh, just uh, what should I say? Uh, Disassemble the thoughts, do some reverse engineering, and try to find out what was the main reason that the thought was bothering you so much. And if that also did not work out for you, you try to do the forceful suppression. Now, what is the parallels of this particular sutra with the modern psychology? So, modern psychology mostly focus on step 1, replacing the thoughts. And this is the most gentle way of dealing with intrusive thoughts and distressful thoughts, and which has have a very long term good result. The first step, replacing the thoughts, which is even used in some kind of therapy, and the CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. uh, then psychology also talks about step 3, which is withdrawing the attention, or we are distracting our mind from that thoughts to something else. Maybe you feel you had a bad day, you start watching a good movie, a comedy movie. I think comedy movie always helps. Even when I had some bad days, I watched comedy movies and immediately it made my mood better. Or you can do something, you can do some painting, or you can do some cooking, whatever works for you. So this one, step 3, that also modern psychology is very um, fond of. Uh, the step 5, the thought suppressions. What does modern psychology say is that sometimes if you forcefully try to suppress the thoughts, it actually bounce back later on, and it gets more stronger. So suppose if I ask you, don't think uh, of an white elephant, the first picture will come to your mind is an elephant. If I ask you, don't think about uh, chocolate ice cream, so the first picture in your mind will come, it's about a chocolate ice cream. But science also says that sometimes it is important. Suppose you are doing something very important. You are doing something which involves the life of another person. Maybe you are a doctor, or maybe you are a soldier, or maybe uh, you are a firefighter. And the moment you are trying to rescue a person, this kind of distressful thoughts comes to your mind. That time you say that no, not right now, mind. We have important work to do. Later on, I will think about that. Now I need to save some people who were, affected by some fire. So I'm just giving this in the example. You can understand that this last one is also effective in some extreme situations, not in a everyday life. So all the thing which is mentioned in this sutra is very much aligned with the modern psychology. Maybe not 100%, but yes, the parallels here is very striking and almost very similar to the modern psychology, this step-by-step approach. And this was given to Buddhist monk 2500 years back. That time we did not know about any psychology, we did not know about neuroscience. But Buddha uh, realized it or internalized it by his own meditative practice. And in earlier Buddhism, uh, the focus was mostly on your meditation, and while going through meditation, the Buddhist monks and disciples, not necessarily only monks, Buddha had many householder disciples as well, not only monks. Buddha had some many renowned kings who used to take the counsel of Buddha, so many merchants. So the Buddha taught this so that you can manage your thoughts in a more uh, holistic manner, and it does not disturb you, it does not cause you. A few days back I was reading a book and there was one thing mentioned which I feel very true, that the thing which bother us most is our own mind. So the thing which gives more pain to us, it's our own mind. The things which trouble us most, it's our own mind. And this is where the teachings of Buddha comes into picture, because even like it's a kind of religion, but it's more like a philosophy. And for me, it's a science of mind, that how we can use our mind and how we can practice mindfulness and practice dharma. So at the end of the day, I become a better human being. Uh, and there is some quotes available on internet that you know uh, Buddhism help you, or Buddhism help a Christian to become a better Christian. Buddhism help a Hindu to become a better Hindu. The Buddhism help a Muslim to become a better Muslim. So Buddhism is not necessarily a kind of religion, even though it comes under religion in the modern academic context, but it's more like a philosophy, and through which we can uplift ourselves, we can become a more evolved human being, we can become a more compassionate and more emotionally mature person, so that we can take care of our own mind, our own self, and when we are with others, the same light, uh, the same aura uh, helps other people as well. The same light, shows the path to other people, because we always lead by example. No matter whether you are in a family, you are in an office, you are in a party, uh, people always look at your own behaviors. People always look at your own habits. So I remember when I was very young, probably I was in a school, just 7, 8 years old. My mom used to uh, narrate me different stories. So all the Indian epic like Ramayana, Mahabharata, some of the old stories, mostly I got to know from my mom and my grandmother when I was very young. And my mom used to, tell me a stories. So what was the story? The story was like, although this particular story is not related with today's session, but it just came to my mind and I thought about sharing. So one day, a mother went to Buddha. I don't even know whether it's a true story or it's something which my mom read about in a book or heard from someone. I don't know. I never searched this story on internet. Uh, so one day, a woman uh, went to Buddha, and the Buddha said that, "How may I help you?" So the lady told Buddha that her son is very fond of sugar, is very fond of sweet things, and she asked that how can her son get rid of the sweets, the sweet things, the raw sugar, because it is detrimental for his health.